writing to be my full-time job and business?
It wasn't until I could make a living being a writer before I was still working in the hospital when I made the New York Times and made signed my first movie deal.
Wow.
So I still continued, and people kept saying, the doctors in the ER were saying, why are you still here? And I said, I just want to make sure.
Right.
So it was a long time before I felt like I could really make writing my full-time job.
I read in another interview that you said in your first month, Beautiful Disaster sold 100 books. And then in the second month, it sold 30,000 copies.
1,000 a day.
What the heck did you do in that month?
It was because of a reader by the name of Nikki Eastep. I'll never forget her name. She mentioned my book in the Amazon romance forums and said, guys, you've got to read this book. And it was really word of mouth. Beautiful Disaster is really polarizing. They either really loved it or they really hated it. But either way, they were talking about it.
So what is it like? Because even myself, like anyone who writes a book, I think we all just idealize the idea of actually getting a publishing deal, So was it sunshine and lollipops and all your dreams come true like we kind of think it is?
Like I said, it never occurred to me that I would even sign with a publisher. I didn't start out with goals, writing goals. I just thought I wanted other people besides my mom to read my book. So I never sought out seeking validation from a publisher. Like if I get a publishing deal, I'll be a real author. I was already an author in my mind. I was already making the Times. I was already making it on my own, and I didn't feel like I needed that as validation.
This was one of the craziest things, and I love it because it's a perfect example of designing your own life and how much hustle it really takes. You guys are going to freak out. So tell people what an average 24 hours is like, or your average day is like.
Okay, well, I won't start at 8 o'clock in the morning because I'm usually going to bed then. So I wake up by the time the kids get out of school, and then we do our regular family evening. We eat dinner and discuss our days, and we get the kids bathed and in bed or homework or whatever, and then that's when my work day begins. I start about 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and then I write all night until it's time to get the kids up for school, and then I go to bed. Sometimes I play with the baby for a couple hours, depends on how tired I am. And then I go to bed and sleep until they get out of school and then start all over again.
Wow. What would you tell that writer who's at the beginning? Maybe they're working on their first book, or they only have a couple books out, and they're struggling or discouraged.
Well, if they're just starting, my advice is always to finish your book. You can't really be an author until you finish your book. You have to finish it. You can't learn. You can't continue to grow unless you've finished that first hurdle. You have to finish your book first. You can't say, well, I'm writing and can I have advice? No, the advice starts whenever you finish your book. Then you perfect your craft. If you're a couple books in, just keep going. Just keep writing. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Here are my key takeaways to success from my interview with Jamie McGuire. Number 1, create something interesting. Her book is polarizing. Whether you like it or not, it leaves a strong impression on you, as it did with readers, which is why she had rapid success. Number 2, don't worry about outside validation. This is easier said than done in today's social media world, but truly, she knew she was an author whether or not she ever got published. That is awesome, and is something that I think was key to her success because it gave her the freedom to write what she wanted to write and what her audience wanted to read. Number 3, focus on that audience. She engaged with her audience as soon as it started to grow. She was talking with them on Twitter and Facebook and giving them what they want consistently. Each book gave her audience what they were asking for. So your audience is your key. And number 4, success takes serious work. She works overnight so that she can have large chunks of uninterrupted time, and then she sleeps while her children are at school. That is dedication, and it's willingness to do something very different from the norm in order to achieve the success that she wants. So you have to put in the serious work. There are no shortcuts, and don't be afraid to be a little unorthodox in your methods to get there. If you enjoyed this video, you can watch more videos and articles on success at success.com and watch my full interview with Jamie McGuire at thepursuit.tv.